4. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the EG Pod Thunder with your boy, the young light-skinned Key Sweat. And to my left, my girl, Ashlee Reyes. Follow her on Instagram right here, baby, as get it. She is a local independent journalist with focus on social issues, creative scene, and boxing. So right off the bat, so my question when I wrote that down was real quick. So the creative scene, what do you mean by the creative scene? Like creative, like are you like writing like scripts for people? Like what do you mean by that?
Creative scene, I just mean, so you already know we're the creative capital, well, Providence, you know, the creative capital.
Let's get it, baby.
And we have such an amazing realm of creatives, from like just visual artists that paint and do clothing to people that have their own podcasts. I would consider you a creative, honestly.
Thank you.
We have a lot of people on the music scene, so many people on the music scene, but we have people that have been doing it for a long time. And then, yeah, the possibilities are endless. When I say creative scene, I just mean anything that you can categorize as a creative hobby or a creative career.
Yes, that one instantly jumped off of the title for me. So what made you want to get into that in the first place, and how did you get into like the creative scene?
So I graduated right in the midst of the beginning of the pandemic. I graduated from Roger Williams University. I did my first 2 years of undergrad. I did at thank you. I did my first 2 years of college at Emmanuel College right behind Fenway Park. And then my last 2 years I did at Roger Williams. Right now I'm at Syracuse for graduate school.
Talk your shit.
And when I graduated in 2020, you can only, already when you're about to graduate, you don't even know what your life is about to get you into. You could major in anything. And I feel like already your future is just so undetermined. Like, what's next?
For sure.
What job offers am I going to get? So add a pandemic on top of that. I didn't know what was about to happen. So as I was networking with people, they told me, like, you need to have your own website. You need to have your own blog. So but they like said it to me in a way of like as having a live resume. So I was like, all right, let me and I'm not even tech savvy like that. So I'm like YouTube tutorials, trying to,
YouTube University is how you live.
Exactly. I'm trying to like do my thing. And my first article I did was on like the increase in cases in Central Falls, but what was being done about that in Central Falls. The mayor was doing a lot, having like a bilingual hotline available for people that were experiencing symptoms and things like that. So I always knew that like a purpose behind my talent of writing was to try to amplify voices that go unheard, hence like why I was focusing on the community of CF and why I try to focus a lot on social issues since the world's a hot mess.
Oh, for sure.
As I was, doing my website and everything and thinking of people to interview, I realized that there was just so many artists, so many people that I hadn't even met. So I did this series called PVD Profiles, which was just an idea, honestly, that came to me. I always knew I wanted to do something with people from Rhode Island because you just have to start in your backyard. I feel like sometimes the small town mentality or just wanting to get out of Rhode Island is like, there's a lot of fire stuff going on here in
Rhode Island's fire. I be traveling all the time. I tell people that shit all the time. I think people who say that don't leave Rhode Island.
Right.
So they just have that small mindset where they're like, oh, Rhode Island sucks because we do the same shit over and over again.
Exactly.
It's like, I've traveled a lot. And I will tell people, and like, because people know I travel a lot. Sport FF, make sure you follow your boy. And they're like, wait, you like Rhode Island? I'm like, yeah, bro, I like Rhode Island. Like, I think it's just because you haven't left. Like, I've been to bigger cities when it's been boring as shit, like Dallas, Cleveland. Those fucking cities suck ass. So boring. I mean, there's so much more to do in Providence and Rhode Island as a state, opposed to those
and even
right
just
there.
The talent. I feel like the talent that you come across. I mean, when I did PVD Profiles, I interviewed Sabrina Chaudhry, who runs Stay Silent, and learning about how she got into entrepreneurship, and interviewing Drew Barr, who does a lot of designing for Bodega.
Yes, sir.
And just a lot of other, Alex Padilla, who like does photography for like major artists out in California and graduated from LaSalle. Like, and mind you, I hadn't met these people prior. Sabrina, I mean, maybe like at an event or two, and a lot of my interviews for that series were virtual. So I'm like on Zoom with it, trying to, make it as personable as I can. But
those are tough. Those are tough. I was like cut you off right there. Just like, Obviously I'm glad you came in person. First time meeting, I'm glad you came by. And the dynamic is so much better in person. So, I know a lot of football people because my brother played football. You just caught in the tail end of my last podcast, my boy Jordan Monk, and he's a football guy. So I have a lot of football guys in the podcast. And so I know kids, and they'll hit me up, and I hit them up as well. And I'm like, oh, they think it's virtual. I'm like, no. Like, I'll wait for you to come back from a camp or whatever from 3 months because I'd rather do it in person than virtual. And then the virtual because it's not the same dynamic.
It's not.
It's not. Yeah.
Luckily, and I was kind of like a little nervous once I started the series and having to do it virtual because it was in the midst of 2020 when we didn't know what was about to go down.
Yeah, for sure.
But luckily, like I was just so lucky every interview. Like every interview I did, I left. I hit it off and it was great. But yeah, that's how I really got into the creative realm. Like I mean. When I graduated college and everything, I did a lot of on-campus work when I went to Emmanuel College. Like I was part of the Black Student Union, part of the Latino organization, and I knew that I wanted a lot of my work in the future to focus on a lot of the social issues going on in the world. But being able to tap into the creative scene, that also helped me tap into that possibility of like, okay, like the music industry is kind of fire, but not even just like to interview people about just their latest project. My whole thing, which I'm sure you'll totally understand, is when you hear people's stories, I could be interviewing somebody who's a rapper or like an aspiring rapper, and I don't want to be a rapper, but they'll say something in their, I leave my interviews inspired.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Wow, like there's just like one part of it, like, oh wait, like you grew up in the same area, you have the same sort of background as I do, and look at you doing it. Like I feel like that's the power to me in storytelling and journalism and podcasting, is that there's mad inspiration that can be drawn from that.
Oh, 100%. And, before I started my own podcast, that was definitely one thing that intrigued me about podcasts. I would listen to like entrepreneurial podcasts, or Tim Ferriss is a big podcast to listen to. He has a lot of successful people on. Like he'll say like the best of like what they do on the podcast. So like he'll have Floyd Mayweather on, best of boxing. You'll have Triple H, one of the best of like wrestling. He has 1,000 guests, and they talk about like their rituals, their daily morning, ritual, what they do before a match, what they do before, they work out, and it's definitely inspiring for me. So I'm like, that's one of the biggest things for me as well. Like trying to put Rhode Island people on is, there's so much inspiration and positive things going on around that people don't know about, and
or that people don't want to focus on. There's a lot of negativity and a lot of like little like bullshit type things that people focus on when it comes to Rhode Island, especially because it's so small that it's hard to not be in the loop about the bullshit. But it's like once you take a step back and really look around and try to inspire, collaborate, I feel like if there was more of an effort there's already a lot of collaborations happening, but if there was even more of an effort to collaborate, I feel like the potential of power is crazy.
Oh, for sure. I definitely agree. Like, I would love to collab as many people as I possibly can. Like, I've collabed with, clothing brands. I'll wear their shirts in the podcast. They come on.
I seen you had Terrence on for World Dreams.
Yeah, my
That's
guy.
Awesome.
Yeah, my guy Terrence. He motivating. He said he's gonna be a millionaire by the end of the year, and I support my guy. I believe him. He said he's gonna be collab with Supreme. I also believe in that. That's not even like a joke. I genuinely believe in like, bro. If you have that mindset, why not? What's holding you back? Like, I think like getting back to like collabing and sharing each other. And that's how people are going to continue to grow. So like, why not? What's going to stop him from being a millionaire? What's going to stop him from collabing with Supreme? How does Supreme start? By support. So we can support each other and put people on the map and put Rhode Island on the map and put like the world wide, like my guy Terrence was saying, the map. Why not? What's stopping each other? Just support, and I'll collab anybody. I'll collab with podcasts, clothing brands. Why not? Why not put football players?
And how did you get into podcasting? Like, was that something that, or just was it communication something that you were always into?
So I get so I've always been in tech my entire life. Okay. So since I was like that dude like in middle school. I'm not sure how old you are or not, but I was that dude like in middle school. That's like when Facebook and MySpace were popping. So I could always like code. I could like do coding. I can make backgrounds like Photoshop, and
MySpace was like really. I wish MySpace would have continued because they were really
ahead of their time
teaching us how to code.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely like CSS, all that type of stuff, and I like self-taught myself CSS on like Pixel 2 Life, and stuff like that, and so I've always been to like photoshopping and like videography, and I had the whole setup before I even started podcasting, and yeah. So I've always been to like that type of like stuff. So like I had the like production side of it already handled. And,
which is a big portion of it.
It is.
That's the area that I lack.
Let me know. I can help you out. I can show you the mixer and the railing and Premiere and all that type of stuff, and I do everything. The reels you see, that's all me.
Amazing.
It's all me. So I had that side settled down. That's a lot of it. And then I know a lot of people. I could talk to anybody about anything. And the thing is, as you know, being a journalist, I'm, like you just said, I'm genuinely intrigued.
Word.
So when people are telling their story, I'm genuinely just like hearing what they're saying and responding.
Right.
There's no type of like bullet points. As you know, you're on the podcast right now. We talked about nothing beforehand. Right. This is all on the go. So like I am genuinely like intrigued. I can just have a conversation with someone. And it's just weird because I can like write this. This is completely fine. But I can't like pull to someone in the bar and talk to them. I think it's so weird. I think that's so different. I'm not sure if you agree with that or not. But so I can definitely just talk to anybody about whatever. And yeah, so it made sense. And then, my boy originally started, I did it with a friend. And, now it's just, I'm doing it solo dolo right now. So it's like, it's once I started seeing myself on camera, obviously it was weird hearing my voice and like.
Everybody feels that way.
So weird. And like hearing myself back, editing it out. But now I'm used to it. It's like, wow, I can like, that's easy. Like I can talk to anybody and it's like, it's entertaining. Word. Especially when you have a good guest on who will like understand like the point of it. It's like if I'm having a funny podcast and people who know like, we're fucking around.
Right.
And that's like the biggest thing too. Like for me, it's like, we talking about this after. This is a different topic, but like how I started on the podcast. That's how I started. I'm like, oh wow.
And I feel like now you're more like
easy.
I feel like a lot of your niche right now is sports, which I think is awesome.
Oh, definitely sports. Yeah, because you follow the podcast, right. And I know, like I said, I know so many people play D1 sports. My brother played football, so a lot of his boys are really good at football. And I played football. I did track, basketball. So I just like I said, since the beginning, I've always been a social person. So I've always networked to people. So I have so many people who are like, if I'm just like, yo, I want to come on the podcast real quick, they're like, 100% for you, I'll do it.
Word. And
like people who are like, oh, I feel weird coming on the podcast. And then after they're like, that was it, bro?
Yeah.
I'm like, that was 2 hours. They're like, oh shit. As long as you make people feel comfortable. And it's like, I think I can make anybody feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
So, so I'm a social guy. Then it's like, I genuinely enjoy talking to people. So it was like a perfect combination. And I genuinely like enjoy doing the reels and like the social marketing aspect of it and like social media aspect of it. I've always enjoyed doing that. So it's kind of like a perfect mix of everything together.
Amazing.
Yeah. So long answer short.
No, but like I feel like you have a lot of different talents that you've been able to
thank you.
Bring all together. It's like, coding, the social aspect, the marketing aspect.
Yeah.
I feel like that's lit as fuck. You've been able to bring everything together in one, because it's
100.
One thing to have a lot of talents, but to find something that is able to complement all of them. Yeah. That doesn't happen too often. So that's lit.
And people don't understand, as you see right now, I'm doing everything. I'm literally producing, directing, listening to you, being able to, people underestimate this like crazy. Being entertaining behind the camera is crazy. Like there could be someone who could just ghostwrite for someone, but then like me being entertaining, like, and you seen like posts of like the twins, I'm not sure if you know them, like whatever, like people on being like funny, and like that's all me, like that's like all that's like me, like the twins obviously, but like, that's all improvised. It's like, so being entertaining, having like the presence behind the camera, the look, the gimmick.
Yeah, it's not like, just about posting on social media.
It's
like,
everything.
There's so much. Yeah, there's so much that goes behind it. That's why I think like, and what's lit about it is that like these are things that you can take elsewhere as well.
Oh, for sure.
Possibilities be endless for real. So
no, for sure. Like you said, like the social creative aspect of it. So when you're doing that, I'm not sure. Like, so you're still keeping up with the PVD
profiles. So I have like a project that I want to bring out that has to do with PVD profiles that I'm working on. I'm on an unintentional hiatus right now. I ain't even mean to, but I'm sure as a creative, I don't know how long you've had your podcast going. How long has it been? It
literally was February, Valentine's Day 2022 was the first drop.
All right. Okay. So once you're a couple years into it, because I know that this will continue and excel for you, I'm sure you will reach pockets of time where it's like you're not feeling too inspired, or you feel like you've already kind of checked off a few boxes of what you want to bring exposure to. So I'm like a little bit on an unintentional hiatus right now. I'm also, getting back into school and everything. Getting into Syracuse is its own story. But I'm definitely, still planning to put content out. And just even getting into the creative realm, that was something that really just happened for me, I guess you could say. Like, an idea just kind of like, and I'm sure you realized with your podcast too, it's like an idea kicks off and takes off more than you expect it to. I feel like as I've been kind of laying low from posting and stuff, I've been doing more traveling with boxing with my dad. That's like my guy when it comes to boxing. That's the reason I love boxing. So like last summer I went to Indiana and I went to Canastota, New York for their Halls of Fame inductions and stuff. And things like that, of that nature. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm up to right now.
So how long did you have the PVD profiles for?
I want to say I had that going for like almost a year, if not a year, close to a year. I wanted to end it at 10, but I have a couple additional ones shelved that I want to put toward a bigger project that has to do with PVD profiles as a whole. And it's crazy when I look back at that series and read through it, because there's some people in it that I know like don't even do what I interviewed them for. Crazy. Or you know what I mean? Hey. Or like they're not really in that bag anymore. So I just think too, like, someone told me once, like, oh, I feel like you're a Providence archive. Like, you interview people and it's like a little like Providence Wikipedia of like what these people do and stuff. And I think that just goes, to as written proof, because those aren't like visual interviews. Those are all written articles and stuff from interviews. It just shows like the realm of people that we have, the variety of talent that we have. It's not like we can just say, oh, like we're just like, a state or a city that has like a lot of musicians. Like, no, we have musicians, we have athletes, we have designers, we have a ton of stuff going on here. But I've definitely been tapping in more, I feel, in terms of like my research and what I'm doing. And as I go to school at Syracuse and trying to figure out like what I want to focus on after I graduate from Syracuse, is like the sports world is real interesting. I mean, it's definitely, I feel like a whole other experience for women, not to make it all like, oh, men or women. But I was watching a documentary on HBO about like women in like sports media and like how we're not taking that seriously. But I feel like my foundation with boxing, just to give you like background on how I even got into the sport of boxing, I don't box. It's never really been like a interest for me. I'm a little weak. I'm not athletic. So it's never been like, let me try to like get into this for me. But I'm Colombian and Puerto Rican. My dad is the Puerto Rican side. So growing up, it was like we were watching boxing. Like I was watching it like as a kid. Like it wasn't like, oh, like she can't watch it because she's 5. Like, nah, I was there. I was watching. So I've loved boxing all of my life. I've met so many boxers along the way, because my dad is not just one of those fans. I feel like you're probably the same way when it comes to sports. You were just talking about different things that your last episode, you were talking about things that you want to get into when it comes to different sports and different places you want to visit and events you want to visit. So my dad is not just all right, we're going to like buy the fight and just sit here and watch it. It's like, no, like we're going to go to like these Hall of Fame inductions, and like he's like a real like hardcore fan, and like going to fights and seeing, how he can tap into that. So like along the way, I've met a lot of different boxers. So I've learned to appreciate the sport, not just for what I'm seeing, but like, again, because I love the story behind it all. The stories that a lot of these boxers have is crazy. Like just the passion, the drive, the heart. There's a lot of heart in that fucking sport.
100%. That's like, they're like I had an MMA fighter on, so my guy Ross, he, asked him, do you think that the modern day gladiators, because they kind of are, they're going in there, they're in an arena, people watching them, get into a fight, essentially, like, they can kill them, they could die.
It's insane. And I'm, so when I go to these different events and stuff, and like when I go to Canastota, New York, it's like way upstate. That's like the official boxing Hall of Fame. Atlantic City will have like their own version. Indiana, they're trying to start their own thing, but like the official one's upstate. So me and my dad, when like last year, Miguel Cotto got inducted, so we went to that one. That's like one of like my dad's favorite boxers, if not his favorite. But they have a lot of like books and stuff and memoirs and biographies, and I love reading. So right now I'm reading this book about Muhammad Ali, but it's covering like the first few chapters covers the boxers before him. So like learning Sonny Liston's story and like Floyd Patterson and all like these people from like the beginning. And that's my thing too. I feel like it's bittersweet when I see people now talking on social media about boxing, because I only really see people chatting, like, I mean, in the masses. I see like a lot of people talking about it when it's just, for example, the fight, the Davis and Davis Garcia fight. Yeah. That's, you know, people want to start talking about it and stuff. But it's kind of like
you feel some type of way, you're like,
I do feel some type of way. I do. I did a poll. I was like, all right, it's that time of year where everybody starts, you know, liking boxing apparently and thinking they know what they're talking about. I guess it's kind of the equivalent of when people start talking about football during the Super Bowl or start talking about, you know, NBA during the finals and stuff. It's like, all right, I like that there's like, you know, support happening for the sport, but it's like, do y'all really know what the fuck you're talking about? It's more
dumb bitch.
Like, that's exactly how I feel. That's how I feel.
I feel like, especially with boxing now, a lot of the chatter I just hear, which this isn't anything new. Betting has always been a thing. But I feel like now it's just about betting when it's like, wait, like we could be talking about so much more. And I guess maybe I just be looking too deep into it, because once I started learning the stories about it really just makes me see everything in a different light, and like it's a whole respect for it. I feel like even like, you know, bringing it recent, Gervonta Davis, that is not a boxer that I was really talking about like that in the past few years. Honestly, with me, his like social scandals and everything kind of turned me off from it. Like,
so I'm not gonna be one of those people. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So what does he do? What's he doing?
So Gervonta Davis, he's the one that just fought.
I know he just fought him.
Yeah,
I know
but
that. I know he just
but
won.
His social scandals. So like there was like a clip that went of him being a little touchy and rough with his girlfriend or his wife I think it was his girlfriend at the time. Now,
so this is the social side of what you do.
Yeah, exactly. There's a social side. Like it's like, all right. And even with Floyd honestly, someone as phenomenal, as great as Floyd Mayweather, he was also being inducted. I was like there, like within yards of him this past summer, because he was also getting inducted into the Hall of Fame for boxing. And I remember like a few years ago when he had like his court case and he did some time for domestic violence, like that shit kind of turned me off. That mixed with the cockiness and the arrogance, which the cockiness and the arrogance, that's not just particular to him. That shit's a tale as old as time. You know, Muhammad Ali was known for that shit. Even in like other sports, you see, you know, athletes with that.
It is weird though, because then people will praise Muhammad Ali, but then they'll be like, "Oh, Floyd's cocky." It's like, well, they're all cocky.
Yeah, exactly. So that's when I check myself. You know, like, all right, Ashlee, like, you know, I think it's just because.
Hey, so back in the podcast, you're like, oh, I'm being biased.
Yeah, I'm being biased. You know, I think, but to me, it's like I feel like the way I'll kind of like side eye a successful athlete for their cockiness is the way like I'll side eye someone local who's doing it, but most of what you hear from them is just pure arrogance. Now, there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness. I understand that. I love when someone's confident in what they do. That shit will definitely boost up, if anything, what they're putting out. But I feel like because I know we all have a fucking story, when you're not trying to give back, like you don't really hear about Floyd giving back. You don't.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
you don't really hear. And I'm not saying that everybody, but I feel like I'm an altruist at heart. And I feel like I try to do my best not having too much financially. So if you have an endless amount of bread like that and you're not really, I don't know, it kind of turns me out. But I'm not going to that doesn't take away from like the talent that someone has. So, you know, bringing it present with Gervonta Davis, that is, you know, someone that I was like, all I really hear is the cocky aspect. You know, he's kind of like be getting in trouble and shit. What, like, how am I finna support that? But I could see, especially like, because I love to watch like post-fight interviews. I love to watch the press conferences. I like to hear what the fuck they have to say outside the ring. And of course, loving to see what they do in the ring. And he's a young dude. He's probably like in his late 20s. And I feel like, obviously, I don't know these people personally. But from what we're seeing on camera, I feel like you can kind of see a bit more maturity on his end. Even this post-fight Davis versus Garcia, they were going, and a lot of it's too for press, but they were really shit talking. But post-fight, there was like a handshake. There was like a mutual respect going on. And sometimes you don't even see that post-fight. The fight could be over and there's still like beef going on when it's like, all right, you did what you needed to do. Respect each other. But I feel like from what I'm seeing, for me, it's like, I guess it's like when people say, what do you think? Can you separate an artist can you separate the art from the person?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can. I can. Like,
There's levels to it. I can sometimes.
I'm the biggest Kanye fan. So
True, he does have wall art.
Yeah, I'm the biggest Kanye fan. But I don't care about what he does in his personal life. So like, I don't even know. First of all, I didn't even know he had kids. So it's like, I genuinely like don't care about like rappers' social life. So I'm the biggest like podcast guy. Love hearing interviews and like Kobe Bryant stuff. That's all like genuine, like hearing their stories. I don't listen to like rappers' podcasts at all because it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all marketing. It's all PR. So
and that's what's annoying to me because I feel like it's just. And again, I guess, I'm probably sounding like a broken record at this point, but it's like there is just so much that someone can give or just gems or gain that you can give to someone if you just take a step back.
Yeah. And
and like talk about yourself and, put the accolades aside. Talk about the accolades, talk your shit. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's something a lot of people got to work on, whether it's people that are, 100% like mainstream celebrity famous and people that, are local and still coming up. It's like, you can be humble and you can be confident in what you do. It's not like it's saying like, oh, don't gas yourself up or don't, hype yourself and like advocate for yourself. But it's like.
But it's tough though because like, even like with football now, like football and basketball, like social media is so viral. It's like that argument. You just call it like, I guess that you just see now. It's like, you can have someone who's really reserved and they're really good. Yes, but if you're elite talent, it's going to speak no matter what. But if you're on the same level, like playing field, the person who's like being the talker, who's gets an interception, they're throwing the ball in the air and they're fucking celebrating. You can go viral and you can get an offer to a college just because of your crazy Instagram posts.
Right, yep.
So like the people who are being really cocky and being boastful, they can. It grabs attention, then they're gonna get the NIL deals, which are getting paid as a high school athlete to like be a personality. Opposed to someone who's just as good as you, who's quiet.
Right.
So it's like that weird thing. It's like, I get like I as an athlete, I was the quiet guy. I wasn't the guy.
What did you play for sports?
Football and track, and I played basketball in my freshman year, but mostly track and football. So it's like I was that quiet guy. So so I'm more reserved to the quiet guy. So I'm like,
but you still, you're right though, because you do have to advocate for yourself.
You do have to advocate for yourself.
Like, the competition is crazy because there's so many people nationwide that you're up against.
Yeah, so it's like I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like people love the chaos. Like
people do. It's like I said, people love the chaos and negativity, the rah rah. Not that everything is negative. But
are you an NBA fan?
I am an NBA fan now. Full disclosure. So I in figuring out what I was gonna wear today, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll wear my LeBron jersey because for once the Lakers are doing something. For once,
crazy game last night.
I am a Laker fan because of Kobe. Like when I was probably like 4 or 5. My dad, like I said, more of a boxing person, but we would watch basketball games here and there.
Fire. And
I remember being mad little and seeing Kobe like playing. This is probably like circa 2003. 2002, and something about him just caught my attention. I'm too young to be like, oh, that's Kobe Bryant. Everybody's talking about him. It was really just kind of like caught my attention.
Yeah.
So from then on, I'm like, all right, like I'm a Kobe fan. I'm really gonna rep that. My dad is a Celtics fan. And so,
I like your dad.
And so I've just over the years have just maintained, like that. Like, okay, I like the Lakers now.
Yeah.
Fast forward, in the past, 5 years, the past handful of years, I really have lost hope. We've had crazy fucking people on the team. We've had Melo on the team. We have AD on the team, etc. And we haven't been able to see.
Well, I mean, you got a ring in 2020. Yeah, COVID year. They won a ring.
COVID year, and then, all the motherfucking injuries.
Yeah, that's tough.
And things like that.
That's
so
tough,
I feel like I've definitely so now that I'm seeing like, all right.
Well, the West sucks. The Lakers have a legitimate chance to make the finals, which is fucking crazy.
Which is crazy. I'm like, all right, I'm hopeful again.
But LeBron's playing going off. Right. My point of me saying that was because if you didn't know NBA, I bet you still would know who Draymond Green is. Because that motherfucker is just, and he's, don't get me wrong, he is good, but he's not like John Moran or obscure players who are like Joker. I'm not sure you watch basketball like Nokovic, but a lot of people don't know who he is if you don't watch NBA. But I guarantee you know who fucking Draymond Green is because he stirs the pot. That motherfucker's always doing something. Shit. He's always on social media. So like that being said, like people like the drama. Right. People like the drama, which is fucking weird. And it's like it sells. It sells. Like the negativity sells. So like I get what you're saying. Like, wrapping back to like the pot, like what we were saying like 5 minutes ago. Like people, it sells. It's crazy
sells,
enough where
yeah,
it sells.
and that's the
like
thing, too,
people like
where-
that cockiness. People like
Right.
It's like the weird thing. It's like don't
even
get me
with-
fucking started with this. It's like girls who say they don't like assholes. Yeah, the fuck you do. Is
That's
you
a whole-
like the
that's a
idea,
whole other topic.
Yeah, you like the idea of a good guy. So like girls like that. People like the idea of like the humble dude, but they really like the asshole cocky.
No, I've definitely been one of those people that has been like, oh, like he's too nice. What the fuck?
Friend zone.
What's good with me? What, you know what I mean? That makes me question, like, real. You know what? Like the good dude.
Dumb bitch.
Exactly. Dumb. Sipping on dumb bitch juice for sure. Because
Oh, we can get into this in a little bit. We finished the sports podcast topic off first. I'm saying it's like that though. It's like the people who are like, oh, we want the nice guy. Oh, we want the humble guy.
Right.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You want that cocky guy who's gonna draw your attention to the sport. That's why people like watching Floyd. Even if you don't like Floyd, you want to see Floyd lose.
Right.
Even though you don't like Logan Paul, you want to see Logan Paul lose. Mm-hmm. You want to see the people lose because they hate him.
right.
So like you might not think you like him, but you do.
Right.
But you do.
Right. Yeah.
You don't like Conor, you like Conor. But either way, you hate him or you love him. He's doing
Right.
something right.
Right.
He's selling pay-per-views. He's making money.
Exactly. Yeah, no, and there's definitely like a respect that goes into it, a respect that goes into the excellence that people can be cocky about. Yeah, no, if we would have had this interview like 10 years ago, I would have been very like, Floyd, Now,
You respect the
right,
marketing.
it's definitely like a respect thing. And like, as I've gone to events and chopped it up with like people from his team or chopped it up with people who have like, you know, really like chopped it up with Floyd personally, it's like, okay, like there's a different person behind the camera.
Oh,
you know what I
100%,
mean?
100%. That's why I can personally
Put that aside.
put that as like respect the person and like the character because
Right,
like from the
right.
art. Because I know it's not that motherfucker. I
Right,
know it's not that motherfucker. I know it's like I read 50's
Right.
book and he said like him and Kanye's graduation and Curtis thing, that was all staged. Everything Kanye does, he even said it, everything Kanye does is all fucking staged.
Right.
So when people are like, oh my God, Kanye's going on a rant right now, he's doing that shit on purpose. He's about to fucking drop a hoodie or something. Like, and you're falling for it.
I just wish he wouldn't bring the politics into it.
He knows how to push buttons. He knows how to get dropped off a fucking contract. But
Right.
I mean, I'm not a politics guy, but I can see what you're saying. But obviously, but he probably did shit to get out of the Adidas contract. But like everything he does, anything Kanye does, I'm like, don't believe him. I don't
Right,
believe him.
right.
So it's like I can like the Michael Jackson thing. I think is weird though. How people have like weird like who gets away with it, who doesn't get away with it.
The Michael Jackson, like the allegations.
Yeah, it's like why is Michael Jackson fine, but R. Kelly's canceled? And I'm not saying if
Yeah.
either of them was like, so why is R. Kelly canceled? And it's like, oh, Michael Jackson, fuck it, play him.
Two things with Michael Jackson. Now, if we get into unpopular opinions and stuff, like I, even growing up, now that is someone that Michael Jackson, like the impact he's made on the world, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I don't get it. It's right there.
yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? It's right there in front of us. We can see it. There's footage that fucking proves it. But it's not like I've never been drawn to his music. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
now we put on top of it, like I watched the documentary with my mom when the allegations came out and everything.
HBO one.
The HBO
Yeah.
one. But I feel like even before HBO, there was already some suspect stuff being said. Kind of like R. Kelly. Before the Surviving R. Kelly documentary came out, there was already some sus stuff being said. But I agree with you in terms of like, why do some people, but yeah.
Who the fuck gets a pass and who doesn't? It's so fucking weird.
It is
Snoop Dogg can say whatever the fuck he wants on Instagram. 50 Cent too. Say whatever they want.
50 Cent's a real life bully. It's crazy.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I love them.
I love him
I
too.
love them. I'm just saying, well, why can 50 do whatever the fuck he wants?
Right.
And then someone says something like canceled. Either
Right.
way, it's
Cancel
like,
culture is crazy because what it's like kind of like what you're saying. What is real and what is not? What is being said as like a marketing scheme or let me just do a quick lawsuit and get some money?
100%. What is it's tough?
What is life? What is real? We can get into existentialism.
You tell
real
me. You're the
quick.
social media person. I don't know. You're a social media journalist.
It's crazy. All I can say is that it's crazy, and I think that really just. If you were ever to be someone like, a journalist per se who wants to like get into all that, I think it really has to do with making sure that you're interviewing a good realm of people. Now, if you're investigating, let's say like a celebrity who has some like sus allegations, like you need to interview not just a celebrity and not just the person accusing him. You need to like deep dive into people that this person's usually with, deep dive into who the celebrity hangs around with, people that the celebrity could have had on their team before is not on their team anymore. What's that about? You know, I think there's a lot of like, that's where the gaps start happening. That's where the biases start happening. It's like, who are the subjects that you're really investigating?
Yeah, no, yeah, 100% agree with that.
For sure.
Yeah, that's too much for me. I like doing podcasts. That's why I'm not a journalist. I'm an entertainer, baby, because that's too much work for me. Like, no. But so yeah, the thing with me, like separating the two. So hypothetically, say we were talking, we're going on dates and stuff like that, and could you separate my podcast from my personal self?
You're reminding me of this episode of Martin. Did you watch Martin growing up?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly which one you're talking about, but yeah, you know, at the BET at nighttime or whatever the fucking thing goes on, come on and be rocking
and there's an episode where he's like on the radio show and he's talking all this shit. And then like his girlfriend was mad excited that he was gonna get this airtime, and you know she's at work like airing it, and then he's talking mad shit. Now she's embarrassed. With her coworkers, and like she's going to him and he's trying to all act like he's the man, like, you know, that's what it comes with and stuff. And she's like, all right, so I'm out. And then you see him like, you know, like fall to the ground, like no, like Gina, come back type.
Oh, that's that one. I don't remember. I don't ever knows that this is a famous like drop now.
Exactly. So I feel like I would be able to put it to the side as long as I'm not being disrespected, as long as there's not out of pocket shit. Now, I'm not saying that like, oh, I'm a sensitive person. Like, oh, why are you calling women bitches? I call women bitches too. But, you know, but it's like, it's just, I think it's like a partner to partner respect thing. Like, as long as you're not saying stuff that would have people like looking at me weird, like, oh, was he talking about you?
But okay, so you know, we just met today,
right?
So say, you know, I've had a bunch of females on. We get crazy. We here till like 4 o'clock at night time. We're talking about sex. We're doing whatever, whatever comes up. We're talking about. I'm making jokes about it. So we just met today. You're like, what the fuck? Episode 13. You're talking about this with Vanessa. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck? I didn't even know you.
Right.
You're gonna want me to pull that shit? You're taking that shit to heart? We just met right now.
Right.
Are you like, oh, you need to take that off?
No, I don't think so, because that's like, it's kind of like, am I going to criticize things? I think it just goes into the pocket of, will I criticize things that you did or who you were before me? Like, oh, you used to talk to so-and-so? Like, that makes, no, like that was your life. It's kind of like, it really reminds me of when people be like, oh, like, do you want to know like your partner's like sexual history?
Weirdest question.
You know what?
People
like,
do that.
You know what I mean? Like, and then there's people that are just like, yeah, like, just so I know. And then there's people that are just, that's like who you were before me.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, like if we were to like start talking and dating and stuff, and you have some episodes from before that have some stuff that I'm like, I'll probably vocalize it to you, like, between us, like, that was, you know, like, I don't really like how you said it, but I'm not gonna like take it to the next level of like, take it down, like, you know, that's your line of work.
How about if I have like 100 episodes taped that's not out yet?
I feel you. I have a lot of shelved shit.
So many, and they're gonna come out eventually. So how about if I, you know, oh, me and so and so, we did a podcast in June or whatever, and I release it, and you know, she's getting a little crazy. She's like touching me and stuff like that. Are you gonna be like, whoa, why the fuck she post that? So can you separate the art?
No, because I feel like if I'm hip to the fact that this was like an old recording, it's all good. I feel like it's also one of those things where like social media, especially like if social media is within your realm of work, like social media is social media. Like, there's going to be time, and, you know, podcasts can be controversial. There's going to be times where certain things are said. But as long as I know who the fuck you are, for real, genuinely, you know, taking away the controversial hot takes aside, like, as long as I know who you are for real, as long as I know that that's an old recording, slip.
Hey,
we're good.
I respect it, because I've been talking to females when they're like, "This not good," and I'm like,
"Not good."
Well, you can get the fuck out then. Like, cause this shit ain't gonna change. This shit ain't gonna change. It's for entertainment. I'm like, if I was genuinely fucking this girl, and I'm like, okay, you got a point. But if it's genuinely like, you know, we're just fucking around, having a good time, we're entertaining. It's like, those shits are the ones that go viral. She's a guest, so you came over one time.
Right.
And
I honestly feel like when it comes to to the women that do feel a way about it, now we're tapping into security.
Yeah.
I feel like just the topic of jealousy. Like, jealousy for me, there's people out there that will say that they like the jealous shit, that they like being questioned, And they like when their like mans is like, you know, like, nah, I want you home. I don't want you out here. Yeah.
Natalia, you hearing this shit, motherfucker? You hearing this shit, motherfucker?
Yeah, I'm not really into that. I feel like, especially me being how I am and just being in the journalism world, part of what I do and like, is basically what you're saying is like being a sociable person. You can't come at me because I'm introducing myself, you know. And even like my best friend Gabby, I don't know if you know Gabby, she's like a cinematographer.
Shout out Gabby,
love her. She's like, you know, was like vouching for me in a conversation once of like, oh no, Ashlee's the type that like, for example, let's say like I saw your line of work and I'm like, oh, I kind of want to like chop it up, see if like, you know, we can bounce ideas or how we can collab. I'll be like, yo, can we like grab a coffee next week or something? Now, some people will look at that like, why is she just asking random dudes to hang out? Yeah, but that's really just the type of person I am. I have no hidden agenda. Like, no, like, let's get together, let's chop it up. That's part of my line of work. But there are some guys, like if I was seeing, I wouldn't be able to actively date someone. That would be like, oh, like, why are you gonna go see Effie one-on-one?
Oh yeah, of course. That me either. And I was dealing with that, you know, in a certain situation, and be like, what do you mean? Like, we're literally just it's recorded,
right?
Like, what the fuck,
right?
And there's
exactly.
in this sometimes like when there's 4 people on, there's 2 people, obviously me and you are on right now, but when there's 4 people on, you know, we'll be tight, and you know, I've been told, oh, her arms on your leg. I'm like, no, we're just fucking like knee to knee.
Right.
It's just the filming of like the recording. What did you want me to do? Like, just don't fucking watch that. I don't know what you want to tell you. Like, if you have a problem with it, just don't watch.
I the first time I ever dealt with someone who was jealous, not that that's happened frequently, because like I said, turn off automatically. It was like the first time that I was like talking to someone, but not just like this is like me in high school. Like, we're not just texting, like we're hanging out. And I remember I went to go visit him at URI, and his friend had a roommate
Rams.
who was a Hurricane Katrina survivor.
Oh,
now, before I could even like know I wanted to be a journalist, I've always been a curious person, like you said, just intrigued, like wanting to learn a story. So I'm over here, like, just met this other guy who like came here all the way from Louisiana. He's telling me like how the fuck he got here, and and the kid I was talking to got heated about like, you were flirting. I'm like, I'm learning his survivor story.
You sound like a slut.
right. He thought exactly. That's what I was given to the person I was talking. And that like I said, there's women out there that like that shit, that like to be checked like that. And it's like, nah, I could never, not in this line of work, not in this lifetime. I
don't understand it at all. It just doesn't comprehend in my mind. Like, I just like, and I've been told like, oh, you're too nice. Like, one time I went out and I seen a friend at the bar, and then after she was like, oh my God, you gotta say hi to everybody, don't you? I'm like, the fuck you mean? Like, yeah, I know her. Why the fuck wouldn't I say hi to her? Like,
right.
I'm just being fucking nice. Like,
right, exactly.
Why wouldn't I say hi just because I was with you? Like, the fuck am I gonna ignore her?
And you wouldn't care if like the girl you're
Nah, hell no. I wouldn't give a fuck at all. Like,
right.
And sometimes that could be like detrimental, I feel like, at times. Like, you said too, like, it kind of seems like what you're implying. Like, I feel like it can be detrimental because I'm not gonna care. Like, what do you want me to be like? You can't talk to some motherfuckers. Like,
right.
If I can't trust you out, or like say we were dating and you're like, oh, I'm gonna interview 50 Cent.
I met him twice. That's my fun fact. I've met him twice. That's my dog.
So now if you meet him a third time, I can be like,
right.
You meet for a third time, you meet 50 Cent? Right. What the fuck?
What's going on?
You're sucking his dick.
Right. What's going on, bitch?
Yeah, what's going on, bitch? Like, nah, I'd be like, all right, well, fuck.
Right.
See if you can come on my podcast too.
Exactly.
That's the first thing I was. I'd be like, yo, see if you can like network. Like,
exactly.
That's literally my mindset. Like, is that weird? And some girls, like you said, those girls, you know, they might be like, wait, why don't you care?
Right.
Why don't you care that I'm talking to 50 Cent right now? Do you want me to care? Like,
but I feel like I said, I feel like that speaks to you're secure in yourself. You're secure in the dynamic that you have with your shorty. You know what? Yeah, like, if it was kind of iffy, like if it was kind of like I don't really know if she's feeling me as much as I'm feeling her. I don't know if she's really feeling me at all. That's when I could understand why you'd be like, oh, she's hanging out one-on-one with other dudes.
Yeah, and then and like,
but if you have like a good thing, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, then there shouldn't be no issue. I feel like jealousy for me is the biggest turnoff, because then it's like, all right, you're not securing yourself. You're not securing what I have with you. Clearly, there's a disconnect for you to think that I'm going to be out here doing something else.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And that definitely
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm so trusting. It's like, it's so weird.
What's
like,
your sign? I hate to sound like that. What's
what do
your
you think?
I don't know. I have. Are you a Leo?
No.
What are you?
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. Okay, that's my moon sign. Now I'm not deep into.
Also,
this shit.
are we compatible?
I feel like they say your moon is like what you're like really deeply, like that's like your actual feel. So maybe I don't know.
Oh, we could be compatible.
I'm a Pisces though.
I'm not gonna. Oh, that means we're compatible. That means we're compatible.
Right.
Yeah, so when people say, I'm like, I don't know. Like, so it's like, I trust. So I'm probably so like,
Yeah.
if I'm with you, I want to trust you. So it's like
Right.
when I get questioned, I'm like, that's definitely a red flag for me. I get fucking annoyed. I'm like, really?
too.
Like, shut the fuck up. Like,
Right,
I already
me too.
fucking told you. Ashlee's coming over.
Right.
We're talking about boxing. We might talk about sex. I don't fucking know if it comes up. I don't fucking
But
pre-plan.
that's the thing. It's a podcast.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
like-
like that's when it's like you have to make sure that who you're with respects your line of work and understands your line of work.
100. So that's what I do.
Wisdom.
So yeah. So I deal with in the healthcare field. So that's my main line. I do a couple things. I'm an investor as well. So I'm in like real estate and sell stuff on Amazon.
Man of many hats.
I am trying selling stuff on Amazon.
That's what's up.
Starting up an up and coming company as well. Not official yet. So I'm gonna wait till it's official to post that up.
And where did you graduate from? Where'd you go to high school?
I went to St. Reyes. And then I went to URI, studied abroad in France, and then I went to school at University of New Orleans as well.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Go off.
hey, thank you.
Cheer, cheer, cheer.
For myself. Being cocky.
Let's go.
Being cocky. But yeah, so that because part I'm in starting like a as well. So just like trying to get whatever comes about, I like to keep myself hobby.
Of like making. I feel like that's an example of exploring all your different possibilities and niches, or all the different ways that you can. Like that's the thing too. I feel like some people just get so honed in one thing or like one career path, and it's like nah, like you could do so much more.
Oh, 100%. I love challenging myself. I love challenging myself, and
That's what's up.
even like saying like, oh, like can I go viral? Like can I not go viral, but like can I make this another form of income where I like this could be maybe my full-time job or something like that. It's like, so yeah, so like and people told me like, oh, you're pretty good, like you're entertaining, you're funny, etc. So like when girls are like, when I've talked to in the past or whatever, like, oh, you gotta stop. I'm like, well, I'm not stopping. So no, you're gonna choose that over me. Yeah, I guess so. You're gonna put it like that, then yeah. If you want to put it like that, then
That's
I guess.
The thing,
but
so I feel like that right there is like that's an example of the importance of having to be with someone that matches your drive.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Or like, because sometimes I feel like people don't know the lines. And mind you, I've never been in a relationship before. Fun fact. Ever. No, like I said, I've talked to people and stuff like that, have like had like phases and stuff. But like for me to sit and be like, oh, my boyfriend, that sounds weird as fuck coming out of my mouth. Like, oh, my boyfriend, I'm so-and-so's girlfriend. It sounds weird as fuck. But I know that for me, like, I wouldn't want to be with someone.
I'm outside.
No, I'm low-key not outside. Maybe I am. No, I'm low-key not outside. But
it's like disclaimer.
I'm not outside. But
she's on Instagram, Ashlee Reyes. Make sure you follow her.
follow me, give me a little like my story. I like your story back.
Flame her, she might
Right.
flame you back. Who knows?
Exactly. But I feel like for me, something that is so important to me, and especially because like, I went to Bayview, all girls school.
Hey, my brother went to Hendy.
Got you. Okay, yeah, I went to Bayview, and I graduated from Roger Williams. I was in private school before Bayview, like community prep. That's how I know the twins and stuff.
Oh,
So, like
nice.
3rd through 8th grade. So I've like education has always been important in my household. But I'm not one of those that's like, oh, I don't gotta study and like would get straight A's. Like from like since my educational journey up until now, I'm a hardworking person. So I feel like I could never be with someone who's gonna be like, oh yeah, like I can put this like professional thing on the back burner for you. Like everything's about like, healthy boundaries, balance. That's the B word I was looking for. Balance. Everything's about a fucking balance. I cannot be with someone who like isn't as driven as I am.
So
I feel like the same thing would go for you because you wear mad hats.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't be with someone who's just like
Yeah,
conforming and comfortable.
So the B word you're looking for was boss bitch. My girl's boss bitch right here. So
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
But yes, I cannot. And yeah, I didn't really know like first couple podcasts I would do. a lot of topics would be like red flags. We could tap into that too if you want. But originally I'd be like, oh no, I don't really have that many. And then
Right.
I don't really,
Like with podcasts, that's the beauty of podcasting is that you like meet new people, kind of like how we're meeting right now.
Oh, yeah,
and
we're
like there's just I feel like because the variety of guests you can bring on, it's never gonna be like you're bringing someone on who has the same exact worldview.
exactly that, and it's like you never know where it's gonna lead to, and
Facts.
genuine conversation stuff like that. But
Right.
so like the red flag topic, I wouldn't really say much. I'd be like, oh, I don't like
Right.
I don't like to fight. I jerked up my other one. I'm pretty calm, dude, and like I don't understand like people are like, oh, like I've heard this before where you need to fight indicate that you like somebody. I don't fucking think that's true at all.
Like fight for the person you like, or like
or
fight
like
somebody
just, like,
else.
arguments, both. Either way, both of them.
Okay,
like
yeah.
arguments are like, oh, like if it gets arguments, that means that means I love you because we're arguing.
Yeah.
That is so stupid.
Right.
I love my brother, my sister, my mom, my dad. I've gotten to maybe a handful of fights with them, all of them combined, maybe like on a hand. So like I love my brother. We maybe argued and see eye to eye once in our entire lives. It's
Yeah.
like, why would I fight with you if I love you? If I love you, why the fuck are we fighting?
That's where it goes. I hate to like bring this word up because social media like glorifies it, but like that's where you tap into like toxicity. It's like why, and that's it. And like what you're saying too, I've heard that shit.
I don't get it. It's like
shit. I don't get it either. I don't like arguing. I feel like, and that's the thing too, because I've never been in a relationship. You know, when like actively dating someone, it's like I was like having a conversation with my friend once about it, like, oh, like I feel like I kind of had like an awkward moment, or like, you know, it was something like, you know, things aren't always, you know, I don't want to break out of things being so peachy all the time. And it's like, there's a time and a place for everything. Like if you're actively seeking it, that's different. Like now it's just like, what's good with you, bitch? But if it's like, you know, if it's real, I feel like that's where you can grow together and learn like, all right, like how can we sit down and have an uncomfortable conversation?
People were, I guess this is a red flag as well. To come back, so end off that before I say this. So the red flag thing, I would never say stuff, and then I talked to him recently. I'm like, oh shit, I have apparently a lot of red flags that now I can
name some, throw some out. What comes to mind?
That I cannot date someone who like wants to be like a stay-at-home mom. Like even if you're you're just doing something. I'm not saying you have to be a millionaire, but like even just like a hobby, like
bitch, be a mom blogger.
Yeah, something like, oh, do you want me to help you set up a fucking podcast for being a mom or something? Like, I cannot do just like, oh, you're gonna bring home all the money and like you're paying for everything, and then like, okay, so then what are you doing?
Right.
And like, I just can't do it because like my mom, I grew up like my mom like did a million things. Like she helped out so much. She was always working. And like I grew up like in a village. Like if my mom didn't pick me up, my dad did. My dad did. And then like my aunt did, my uncle, grandpa, whoever, anybody. Someone's always going to pick me up. So it's like, I can't see. And I didn't really notice that until that experience happened where I'm like, oh, I cannot do this. Like,
right.
I feel like a sugar daddy at that point. It's like, I can't like.
So I feel like this goes into the controversial question of like splitting the bill. Now, I'm talking about splitting the bill once you're actively dating someone. I'm not talking about the first date. We don't even got to get into that. Oh. I'm talking about once you're like seeing someone, you know, it's a month or two, you're feeling the bitch, she's feeling you. So now you guys are going to El Paisa for lunch. Who's covering that? Like, what is actually, we won't even do Paisa. It's kind of a cheap bill. You're like out to somewhere like, you know, a little fancy schmancy. Yeah. It's kind of thick. What do you think about that?
I feel like we're 2 years in.
No, I'm talking about like a few months.
A few months in?
Yeah, a few months in. Like, but things are like looking promising. You're exclusive.
So before this date, have I paid every single time?
For the most part, I guess you could. Like, so I guess.
And so how's the situation like? Are you like you're pulling your card out, or am I just like your turn?
I guess. How about this? Let's say it's like.
I guess it's all predicament based. So it's
all scenario.
You gotta draw the scenario out for me right now.
Let's say you're a month in because you know there's the first date. All right, did we fuck? Okay, we're fucking with each other. And then like the second date, third date. All right, yeah, cool. So now it's like you're like a month in, and like now you're frequently hanging out type thing. So like, what does the bill situation start looking like? I
guess I don't think the guy should pay every single time. Like if you like somebody, I'm not saying you have to pay every single time. I was like, why wouldn't we split the bill?
Right.
Like why wouldn't you take a turn? Like
yeah.
Why wouldn't you take a turn? Like and things I wouldn't care if I did pay, but I guess it's more like the
the
respect.
principle,
It's like it's like the principle of like, why wouldn't you? Like, if you cared about me, why wouldn't you be like, you know what? I feel I got this.
Right,
Oh, I
right.
bet I got
Yeah,
this or whatever.
yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. I got it next time. Like,
I agree.
I wouldn't even have to say it. I'm like, all right, cool.
agree.
Thank you. Appreciate you. And then like next time we go out, I'll just pay. So it's like a given. It's like every single time you got to pay. It's
No,
like,
I asked that because we're living in, it's a crazy, I say
Oh.
I'm busy, but like, I have this conversation with my friend all the time of like, how some girls will really feel entitled, honestly, of like, oh, you like me? Like, so cash at me for my nails. What
that's
the fuck?
crazy. My brother was telling me that he's 21.
Yeah.
He said that he knows a whole bunch of girls, and I mean, it's a popular topic, like seeking arrangements and stuff like that. Don't know if you know what it is, but I feel like a lot of people do. Do you know what it is?
What is it?
Seeking arrangements.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Yep.
And my brother was telling me that he has a lot of female friends who
That are on
are
it?
doing that and that as well. And he's like,
Seeking arrangements is different though, because if you're a man who's on seeking arrangements, you know what the fuck you're finna get into. Like, you know that like you're about to be talking to someone who's here for the same, like, you know, I feel like I'm sure there's men on seeking arrangements who it's probably like on the flip side, like they're looking for sugar mamas. But I feel like for the most part, like you, like that's like a platform. It's not like you're on Tinder or you're on like Hinge where it's like, what's the vibe?
no, 100%.
But like, but it's crazy how common that shit is.
Oh,
now.
for sure. I was talking to some girl, and she said that it's very common. So like, all my friends pretty much have done it at one point in their life. I'm like, that is fucking crazy. So my brother's telling me, like, he's 21. He was like, oh, I have a couple female friends who they will literally talk to dudes and be like, cash at me for money, and then they would like block the dude. Even my brother's girlfriend said that she has friends who do that. She'll like talk to the guy and be like, oh, send me money for my nails. Blocked. It's like, yo, what the fuck?
Especially, I feel like if girls are doing that to people like locally, like guys that like are probably mutual, like that's bold, bitch. Like if you're doing that to a guy from like Minnesota or something, I'm not saying this. I'm saying that's, I would understand a little more like the boldness behind that. But if you're doing that to like a guy who like seems like he's interested in you, or like a sweet guy who like seems harmless and is local, that's bold as fuck.
You know why? Because he got fucking friend zoned. He got friend zoned, and then she's, oh, you asked me out?
Right.
You thought this was a date? Oh no, we're just friends. Then why the fuck did I pay for the bill then?
True.
Why the fuck did you say let's split the bill? If we're just
True.
friends, why did I pay for the bill?
What
Why?
if though, to play devil's advocate, what if
Oh please.
what if she, okay, so for example, let's say me and you, right? You asked me out on a date, and I'm like, I've never looked at you like that. I'm kind of like, maybe, like, let me explore that. And I go with you.
She wants to explore FF. Let's get it.
Let me explore that. And then we go on a date, and then it's not a vibe for me. And you paid the bill, and then you're friend zoned after. Like, what does that make me? Like, if I already know you're not a vibe halfway into the date, I should have split it, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, and I agree with that.
You should be like,
What if I come to that conclusion?
yeah, you should be like, you know what, Dan? 'Cause then at least be like, you know what? At least have the balls to be like, you know what, F, this is a date. It just didn't go how I thought you were gonna be, or like, I didn't fuck with the vibes.
You thought I was feeling you? I don't even like Ice Space. Why did I quote the bitch?
Yeah,
I don't
so
even
like-
that's crazy. That's crazy.
But I'd rather respect though. You know what? This was a date. But you know what? I'm not feeling it.
Right. No, there's
that's what it is.
100% of respect.
At
in
least
that.
fucking say it. Don't be like, oh, this wasn't a date. Then what the fuck was it?
On
What
the
the fuck
other,
was it?
but this reminds me on the flip side with men. This reminds me of men who like try to be way too nice, or like they try to like make it seem like it's something more when they're just trying to fuck. Like if even as out of pocket as it may sound, and I'm not saying, I'm gonna accept, obviously, no, but I'd rather someone be very straight up, Ashlee, I don't want anything serious. I'm not trying to date you. I just want to fuck. Rather than, oh, let me get to know you. Let me go on some
ass.
Again, not that I'm going to say yes to it. But what I'm saying is, like, I'd rather someone be very direct in that aspect than try to, like, string it along. That's on the men's aspect of, like, how men can be better and being more, like...
Yeah, they could, 100%.
You know what I mean?
I'm not disagreeing with that.
I just want to make sure, we hold all genders accountable.
100%. I agree with that.
Right.
But I got to my cousin to tie a bunch of times, and she, like, will not agree with me. She's like, no, you asked me out on a date, so why should I pay? Then don't come on the date. If you know you're not fucking interested, just say no.
Yeah, but like...
You knew I
so,
just fucking flamed your shit. I have been heart-eyes in your shit for fucking 2 months.
So what do you think... What what do you consider to be an acceptable interest to accept a date? Like, do I have to think you're cute and have personality, or can I just think like, oh, like,
what's my opinion on a girl thinking
yeah,
it's acceptable date?
Yeah, like what does a girl have to like think, or like where should their mind be, or should they view you for you to think like, all right, it makes sense for her to like go on the date?
I guess it would. I mean, same thing for me. I guess, you know, I have to obviously think I'm good looking, or like, oh man, his podcast is entertaining. Right, he's funny.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe he's funny in person or whatever. And
so my struggle, especially like when like some guys would like reach out to like, I want to take you out on a date and stuff. Like I'm talking like late high school, early college. If I wasn't automatically attracted, which now I will stand 10 toes. I've had like some of my friends be like, Ashlee, you're shallow. And I'm like, physical attraction is important. Is it everything? No.
Yes.
But it's a high percentage.
Trick question.
It's a high percentage. So my whole thing of like trying to not be a shallow bitch, I'd be like, all right, like I wasn't looking at him like that, but he seems like a cool, hardworking dude. Let me see what's up. But I think the common ground, the middle ground, the compromise of it all is that if I'm halfway into the fucking date and I'm not feeling it, then yeah, I agree with you. I should split the bill.
Fuck yeah.
Do you think some guys, especially because you're a guy, you have a lot of guy friends and shit, do you feel like a guy would feel disrespected by that?
I know friends who said they would feel disrespected, but me, I welcome it. Oh, you think this shit was a friend date? All right, it's cool. Let's split this shit then. I'll go on fucking out next.
Word.
Like if I ask you out or something like that, it's like, all right, come on, let's be fucking for real. I've been flaming your shit. I've been hearting your shit.
Flaming like, your shit.
Oh, damn, girl, you're bad. Right, and it's like, oh, do you want to get dinner? What the fuck? You think I just want to hang out with you? Obviously fucking not.
Right.
Like, obviously, yes, I do, but not to be friends. Let's be fucking for real. Like, I just fucking met you. Right,
but I also think it's important to, like, get to know someone platonically before. Like, obviously, it should be happening. I'm not going to sit here and be like, but.
You sound like a slut.
I love that button. But I feel like it's important to, like, really get to know someone before.
You really think that's so?
I mean, like, if you're attracted to someone and you hit it off and shit happens, whatever the case may be, I'm not saying on the first date, you know, a couple dates.
And that's another thing. Yes, that's another thing too. Though I say, like, what is wrong if I ask you, like, oh, like, I have a friend, she's on Tinder for like fucking years. I'm like, Tinder's go on this fucking date. Tinder, but whatever the fuck it is. I'm like, just go on the date. Nah, it's a waste of time. How the fuck do you know it's a waste of time?
But why you don't know? Then she needs to get off Tinder.
Yeah, it's like, that's what I'm telling her. I'm like, you're wasting your fucking time, that guy's time.
Yeah.
What is wrong with going on a date? First off, and saying it's a date and just taking the date. I'm not saying, hey, do you want to fuck tonight?
Right.
I said, do you want to go on a date? That's it. Do you want to get dinner? It's a date. That's a fucking date. I'm not saying we're fucking.
I feel like on her end, right? Like, if she wants to prevent, like, being in a weird dynamic of having to turn dick down, make your date in the middle of the day. Don't go out for drinks. Go out for coffee.
I wouldn't fucking go.
You wouldn't go if it's in the middle of the day? What?
For breakfast? I want to get...
I motherfucking love breakfast.
Want to get coffee? You want to get coffee?
Yeah.
All right, tomorrow we'll plan it. So I don't. Like, I feel like you're already pre-friend zoning yourself at that point.
Nah. You're putting it on.
There's a lot of rules.
Basket.
There's a lot of rules,
and that's what's crazy.
There's so many rules. I said I wish there could be, like, everybody has their own PDF manual. Let me read this shit before. Let me get to know you before I sign it.
Especially because I know how to text PDF. I'd so be into that.
Hey, actually, send me your PDF. I'm gonna read up on you real quick.
Right.
I'm gonna.
What would you want? Give me some, like, bullet points of what you would want on the PDF, so the female viewers can know when they can motherfucking DM you their PDFs.
I swear, make sure you send your PDF right here, baby. Your PDF better say at least working at least 3 days a week. You guys send me your high school highlight tape. You guys send me what else?
What's highlight your goals tape, but it doesn't have to be athletic, right?
Preferably athletic, but you can do
I was gonna say, can I send, like, on my, for example, me, I'm not an athletic hoe. I was on mock trial. I was in book club.
Oh, that's impressive as well. At least, our kids will have the academic side. They can get into D1 colleges.
Word.
They have the, the athletics, and then they have the academics behind that.
Word. Okay.
So that, what's like your goals, and like, at least probably 2 to 5 years. What's your family history? Are you cool with your parents? You're not cool with your parents. You hate them. Do you want to fucking stab them? That's important.
Yeah. So if someone's not cool with their parents, what's your take on that?
Done. Nope. Not having it. That's also a red flag. Now,
what if they have a valid reason?
That's different. But if you're just like, like if the parents loves like fucking your sister and your brother, and you're like the one, it's like there must be a fucking reason why you're the one fucking redheaded stepchild.
Okay, yeah.
There's a fucking reason in there.
Yeah.
And then like you talk to the brother sister, they're like, oh, how's Ashlee? You get that look like, oh shit.
Right.
Oh shit. You can be around someone when you're like,
family oriented is so important to me too. I've always said that, like, because like as you were saying, it takes a village. Like as you were talking about your family, I'm like, yeah, I totally relate.
Yeah, that's part of the fucking highlight tape there, the resume right there for sure. How you spell. If you fucking, I'm not the biggest on grammar, but like if you can't like tell between your, and your, and then like there and there, I'm like, all right, this motherfucker's done. I don't want to fucking Eddie as a kid.
Word.
What's your hobbies? What are you doing? You gotta have some hobbies. You have to have some type of friends.
You gotta be a well-rounded woman.
Yeah, because like if I go out with El Rey, my guy El, or anybody, I have a lot of friends. I don't want you being clocking me. Word. Where you at? Where you coming home? Word. Where you doing this? Where you at? Right. Bitch, I already told you. I'm at fucking Home Depot. Leave me alone. That's happened in the past. Like, what are you doing? Where you at? FaceTime me.
That's the thing too. I'm very much like big on like, if we're seeing each other, we don't gotta text all day. Now, if it comes to it, because I work from home, so it's like if it comes down to it, like my mind be everywhere. So it's like I text some random shit at 2 p.m. and if you're available enough to do, all right, cool. But we don't gotta talk all day. What the fuck? We're adults.
Yeah, the morning call before work, the after call after work. Hey, what are you doing? Or like the random FaceTime.
You get calls that early? I'm just sending a quick text.
All right.
Have a great day.
What's your availability like? So, oh my, that was the worst. So like, where you at? I'm like, yo, I'm fucking picking up decking wood at Home Depot. What else do you fucking want? Like, leave me alone. Get splinters answering this call.
Right.
So stuff like that. It's probably, it's not a lot right there, but it's definitely a lot. Like, have some type of motivation. Again, I'm not saying you need to be a fucking lawyer or something like that. That'd be cool. But like, I'm not expecting like the world. It's just like there has to be some type of balance.
And it's like you need someone that really matches your drive type shit.
That
like
100%.
has like stuff going for them. Isn't just in one pocket. Like it's okay if you're if you're invested a lot in your work, but if you work some corporate ass job and that's really all you got going, like
it's that weird balance. So it's like, like you said, like then it's like I don't want a broke bitch, but I also don't want someone who's like all in there. It's like that weird happy medium. Like
everything in life's a happy medium.
Yeah, checking up on you, but not too much. But then you don't want someone who's just like so into their job is like, hey, do you want to get dinner tonight? Oh, sorry, I'm working all night for the 5th time in a row. So it's like that.
But this reminds me of my views of like how there's artists out there or like people, aspiring artists, I want to say, and they put all their eggs into that basket, so they're kind of like a little broke. Oh, and I'm not someone that's like, oh, I need someone that's making 6 figures. I'm not like that. But to me, it's like, all right, if you're really telling me you don't got a full-time job right now because you're in the basement on SoundCloud.
Hey, don't
I'm not knocking it. There's some SoundCloud rappers out. No.
Don't out me right now.
I give a lot of love to like local art, but I know, like, I've definitely seen like, I've seen both ends where like there's a creative person who has like 2 jobs that has nothing to fucking do with what they want to do, but they're making bread to support their creative dreams. But I think, that's what that was reminding me of. I know it's a little different from what you were saying.
No, for sure. It all correlates.
Yeah, you need the happy medium.
Yeah, definitely need the happy medium. And it's like, it's tough because like, and then at one point I was kind of like bending for like, oh, I don't agree with this. Oh, I'm not like, I don't agree with this. Let me just see what works or what doesn't. Let me see if I'm typically wouldn't let it happen, but let me do it. And then it wouldn't work. And I'm like, this is why I don't fucking do it. And so it's like,
what do you think are some like big issues happening in the dating scene right now? Like, what are some like?
Oh, it's definitely like the what's a date and then what's not a date. It's like
true.
That is 100%.
Because I guess breakfast isn't a date, y'all.
Definitely is not a fucking date.
Nah, please get breakfast. Like, yo. I'm talking because I'm not outside. Friendly dates, breakfast.
See, friendly.
I'll split the bill.
Oh shit! It might turn into something because she likes platonic dates. That's we went
Making the
around
move.
that.
Making the move. Let's talk about making the move.
Yeah. So the platonic dates. So it's like,
when do you like? What's like a sign for you? Like, all right, I can make a move. Like, does she gotta give you a certain
You know what,
look?
guys? We'll leave you guys on a cliffhanger right here.
Okay.
Part 2, my girl Ashlee right here. We'll be tapped in. What's making the move? She wants me to make the move on her, so I'm gonna pause her here and we're gonna do it. Make sure you follow your girl Ashlee Reyes on Instagram. Make sure you follow your boy Sport F on all social media. EG popped on all social media. So part 2 of this is gonna go too long. I'm out Joe Rogan, so I know you won't tap in for the full 2 hours. So let's get it, baby. Making the move.